So we'll start the exterior inspection with the cargo door. Make sure it's secure, won't come open in flight. Next we'll head to the static port. Make sure it's unclogged, not blocked by any debris. We'll step back here to the elevator on the plane. Make sure that it moves freely, up and down. Look in the pins. See that the pins are unobstructed and in place. All systems good. We'll look down at the flaps. Make sure that the flaps can move freely up and down separately of the elevator. And we'll come back and we'll check on the rudder. Make sure that it turns left and right easily. Nothing blocking it, nothing loose. It's very important that this is not loose. Make sure our rear strobe light is good. We come on over to our next elevator. Same procedure, up and down, check and make sure it's got a good motion. Looks good here. We come in and check on the pins again, then we check our flaps. Flaps are good, elevator's good, we come around the airplane. So we'll start on the other side of the plane here with the flaps. We want to make sure that they're solid. The hinge pins and the mechanism is all nice and tight. Check and just make sure that nothing will move up and down. Come on over to your aileron. You'll have one on each side of the airplane. You'll lift it up and down, see if the motion is good. We're going to come in and check the pins, check the nuts and bolts, lift everything up and down. You can see that the yoke moves with the airplane ailerons up and down. Very good motion here. Come around and check our navigational sensor. So looking good. Come on around and check the stall alarm. Make sure that that's mobile. Check the pitot heat tube, clear of obstructions, nothing stuck in there, all looking good. We'll come over to the gas gauge. Always check this. Never trust your gauges. Sometimes they can be erroneous. As you can see here, the gas is full. This particular plane holds 74 gallons. It has nice little indentations in there to tell you approximate gallons by every 5 gallons. So anywhere from 5 to 75 gallons inside there. Just look for the little graduations. But always make sure your fuel is topped off. Close that up. We'll come over here. We'll get our little tube for checking the gas. And what you always want to do for pre-flight is go in here and drain a little bit of the gas out. Look it over. Make sure that it is actually gas. And you'll be able to tell the gas because it's clear and it's got an oily feel to it, and it will smell like gas and not water. Just dump that out and your check is complete. Now we're going to check the tires, check the bounce, air fill, check the struts to the landing gear, check and make sure the brakes are holding well, check the flaps so that the landing gear is solid, and the infrastructure is complete. So we're going to come over here, use a slotted screwdriver to open up the engine cowling. The biggest thing we're going to be checking for is 3 colored leaks or spots in the engine or in the engine basin. We pop this open here. We're going to be looking for blue, yellow, and brownish stains. Blue stain is a fuel leak, yellow stain is an exhaust leak, and a brown stain would be oil leaking somewhere in there. I take a look in here and we can see that don't have anything leaking at all in here. Everything looks buttoned up tight, looks good. So we're going to pop open the oil reservoir and see how much oil we have in there. This unit takes 10 quarts. Everything looks fine. Going to look right up in there, and there we go. Close this up, and we have completed the checklist for the landing gear engine. We'll move on over to the prop next. When we're checking our prop, we want to run our hands on the trailing edges, check, make sure there's no cracks, nicks, bumps, or anything along there. Make sure everything's straight and aligned, solid. Come down here to the front wheel, check the air pressure, check the brake, check the flaps and the strut, check the light, make sure everything is nice and secure, nothing loose or out of bounds. We go to the second wing fuel tank. We're going to do a little sample out of the bottom over here. We'll put the little filter tube up in there. We'll get a little sample. Now this sample should be nice and clear just like the other side, and it is. And we'll pour that out, watch it evaporate. If If it evaporates very fast and on your fingers, if it has an oily feeling, of course that's fuel for your airplane. Now we're going to pop open the little fuel tank here. Inside there, you may see some little graduations marking where the actual fuel level is. This is an alternative method to the fuel gauges in the cockpit to give you an idea of where your fuel stands. So make sure we lock that up and button it up really tight. Okay, now we're going to walk around the front and the side edge, check the navigation light. Going to come back to the right wing, check the aileron. You can see that it's moving the yoke. So we're going to check the struts, any connecting points, make sure they're solid, in place, not moving around. And we'll finally check the flap here, make sure it's nice and solid. Check the pins, struts, make sure everything's locked in place. And we're pretty much back to where we started from. Now we're checking inside the cabin to check. We're going to turn on the power, check the stall warning that we noticed earlier. Diane, my teammate, is going to walk over there and maneuver that with her finger, and we'll give an audible alarm on the dash with a light. That's the stall warning. Not good if you have that go off. Now we're going to check back and turn the lights on, make sure all the lights work. We'll step back and we'll view the 3 strobe lights. There's one on each wingtip at the end. Walk back here to the back end of the plane and see the really bright one in the backside. Nice and bright strobe light there. Come on around to the left wing and it'll be on the wingtip right here. We'll be able to see that. And we'll come on up to the front, and I believe we're going to check the lower and upper headlights, make sure that all the headlights work. There it is. Here comes the lower headlight. And the upper headlight checks out. We're going to come on around to the other side of the plane here, the right side where the cabin is, and we're going to check the rotating beacon, which is simply a mechanized light that spins around at a regular pace that you can see for miles and miles in the air. And there it is right there, spinning around.
And why is the pre-flight inspection so important?
You have to remember when you're flying, you can't pull over beside the road, park, something goes wrong. Very critical if there's a problem, you find it on the ground before you leave, rather than having to take them off, and then there's a world of hurt.
Having said that, have you ever had any emergencies in the air?
I'm very fortunate. I never have. I've had one incident. I was flying a twin-engine Seneca going into Lakefront in New Orleans, and I had one engine kind of burble on me. Trust me, it made me sit right up and take notice that I was sweating when I landed. That's the only time I've ever had any problems with it.
Wow.